Okay, so this is my presentation for my subject specialism idea, and the first thing that I'll talk about is my original idea, which I had before the start of Christmas, and it was going to be a announcement trailer for a sci-fi game. It's going to be a short animation, around 3 to 5 minutes long, that would not show off gameplay, but show off some of the characters and some of the setting. So the setting was going to be a sci-fi, like a giant sci-fi utopian ship. It's gonna have, mainly just completely action based, no dialogue. Um, the reason I changed this was because we had an animation assignment in that first term, and I wasn't comfortable at the time with the way animation worked. Um, it would later become a mistake to change it from this because this is significantly less work than what I chose to do after this, and also I feel more confident with animation after those two assignments. But I did do a complete script, which obviously I didn't use because I'm not using this proposal anymore, so this is all pretty much worthless. And I also did around 13 pages of research. Obviously, if you add these 13 pages with the 40 I did for my second idea, I would have around 53 pages of research. So technically, I did get over that 50 mark, which everyone should have aimed for. But my new initial proposal idea was going to be 2 rooms, very, very little animation, just idle objects. It's going to be 2 10-minute long videos showing off different camera pans of the room design, the assets, some Foley, background track as an ambient um, type of situation. And then I thought what I had to produce was fair. It was a fair amount, but I feel like it's not much more than some of the other assignments, maybe like one of the team assignments, maybe in terms of size. Then I did a more, I'd say refined proposal, but it actually just added more on. So I don't think that word fits it, but it basically kept the idea of 2 rooms, but on top of that, I was going to add a animation to the temple because I wanted somehow to put animation in there because I dislike modeling, I dislike texturing, and the only thing I really liked was the animation part of it, which is kind of ironic considering this. I got rid of a really really good animation proposal in favor of this. It was my mistake, and I kept adding and adding more onto this to fit the animation I wanted to do. Um, then this is the research for that project. I did 40 pages, but this was during the initial proposal. These first probably 20 pages, I was talking about different rooms in games, how they design them, the textures they use, the sounds. That's some concept art for the sci-fi room. That's a 3D model of a sci-fi room. So I was trying to take inspiration from other games, how they laid them out, why they picked the colors they did, why they picked the assets they did. Then I moved on to some level map ideas, like how would you display a level map. So I basically moved through that. This was around the time when my computer started to mess around, and I couldn't use 3ds Max sometimes, and it would just crash. So I thought I would have to move on to something which doesn't require a computer now, would be concept art. So if I go to my concept art folder, I have a wide range of concept art for the sci-fi room and the tempo animation. If I quickly just go through maybe a couple of them. So it was basically just talking about this. It was model sheets. It was just ideas that I was just putting down on paper. A lot of it was testing out new things like perspective drawings. I've tried to avoid them, but I thought now was the time to do that. I also messed around with blending pencils and with perspective drawings, and I also did some watercolor progression pictures to see if I could create some cool blending stuff. I also did about 8 rough level maps, which all worked together for the final level maps, which I did on Photoshop. Then I moved on to, from that, using concept art all the way up until the end, because my computer still is kind of broken, so I can't actually show the stuff on 3ds Max. These are the tutorial for the watercolors. As I progressed all the way down, these are the tutorials which I did. That picture I took myself. These are basically tutorials which I used during the progress of my assignment. This was a asset list and a Foley list of everything I needed. It was a lot. It was definitely like there's a couple character models in that one, and then the rest was the sci-fi room had the least. So I think I kind of left that, and that's the reason why at the end the sci-fi room didn't look good. I also have a script for an animation that was going to be in the temple. Had a short story behind it. It's basically going to be a guy who walks into the temple, and it's a place where you can obviously pray to the god of dreams and offer something, and you should be able to rest there in relative safety, unless your offering was insufficient. Then also the shot list, and the shot list helped me create the storyboard, which is in the production folder. If I go to storyboard frames, I have all 30 storyboard frames. Basically, it runs through the entire script, which was turned into a post-production. No, it was turned into a animatic, which I captured Foley for. I recorded myself getting the Foley. I won't play the sound, but I'll just have this in the background whilst I just talk about my thing. I would have liked to have actually completed the animation, but it was a mixture of really bad time management, changing my idea too much, and also obviously some computer issues at the end. If I was to go back, obviously I would pick my first idea. If I couldn't do that, I would just completely remove the sci-fi room from the equation, so I wouldn't have to do 2 rooms, and I would just focus on the temple design, but mainly the animation behind it. I also did do one of the temple guard models in Mudbox as a quick thing, which I'll show in a second. And also, because every character had cloth on them, I also did a document on using the cloth modifier. I did some test runs for that. And all in all, I think if I had managed my time better, I could have done this animation. I thought it would be pretty good. But I think it was just that initial term with the animation that kind of threw me off the whole thing. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end. I'm happy with how my concept art and drawing progressed. I still dislike it immensely, but I have improved. This was my temple block-out because I can't access 3ds Max. I'll have to do it this way. So I started with laying it out. It was huge, like a couple thousand each way, and then I started modeling the archways, trying to work out a scale for the animations. STL added started to add the walls and the variation in the archways. Started to build up the walls, map out some areas where the pillars would go and the statue in the center would go. As a thing for scale. These are my cloth tests on a character using the model I made in one of the previous animations. So that was kind of fun, actually working out how to get the cloth to attach to it. Then I also worked on a temple guard mudbox model. That was interesting. It's probably the only part of the assignment I actually enjoyed, and I left it until about a week before the assignment deadline. So in the future I would probably maybe even just skip putting a lot of focus into the room, because if I could do my original idea, it was only 3 character models in a street, so I could model the characters and then use Mudbox to finish them. The sci-fi room, I believe, is in the post-production, just some short gameplay footage. This got nowhere. This was terrible. It was a complete waste of time to do this sci-fi room. It's not even textured. There's no models because I couldn't get my 3ds Max in the last part of the term. But the 2 first parts, well, obviously it was my fault with the time management issues I had. And that's pretty much it. It's not good. It's not even. Yeah, it's just terrible. And that's pretty much it for my assignment. I also got my mind maps on my mood board. which was a part of my proposal. Research, nature, Gantra, and then Foley, which I captured as well. And that's pretty much it.